Welcome to this week's Quick Charge. The Bible tells the story of Naaman in 2 Kings 5. In fact, verse 1 says Naaman was the captain of the army of the king of Aram. He was very important to his king because the Lord used him to lead Aram to victory. Naaman was a great and powerful man, but he was also sick with leprosy. Here is a powerful man who has two lives. He has two personas, two reputations. He has a persona of victory, but he also has a persona of leprosy. So he has victories and issues all at the same time. He's a great warrior, but underneath there is an issue. What's an issue? Well, it can be a personal challenge. It's really anything that keeps us from being whole and finishing strong and well. The reason for this story is that God wants to deal with his issue. Why? Because there can never be enough victories in my life, enough good, to counterbalance or negate an issue that works against me. Since it only takes one issue to result in personal defeat and downfall. Now, what's amazing is that this great man almost misses his help in God. Even though he had traveled a long way to receive it, he almost missed his miracle. And it's really surprising because he has a lot going for himself. After all, he's not living in denial. He knew he had an issue. He was honest about it, willing to acknowledge it. He's saying, this is a problem for me. He could easily see it in the mirror. And all of that's quite commendable because it's often easier to see issues in others than in our own selves. But he was honest. He was also not living in pessimism. Even though he had been a leper for a long time, he doesn't think his issue is hopeless. He doesn't see it as incurable or beyond help or impossible. He's not pessimistic. Pessimism is the initial sign of giving up and surrendering to defeat. You see, you can give up in your mind even though your heart and your spirit are still crying out for help and wanting to believe. You can run out of emotional stamina and motivation and fight. But he's actually hopeful. He's optimistic. He's also not living in cynicism. He's not saying, I've tried that before. I used to believe that, but that doesn't work, and I've heard all this before. Cynicism is so very dangerous because it can actually keep you from your promised help in God. And he's also not living in rebellion. He had a measure of the fear of the Lord. He recognizes the power of God, the word of the Lord, and he saw God as the God of his help. He hasn't turned his shoulder away. He hasn't hardened his heart or stiffened his neck, and he hasn't deafened his ear. He is open to the Lord. But with all of this going for him, he still almost missed his help in God. How is it possible to be so close to your help in God, to his remedy, so near to his answer, and still miss it? How is it possible for someone to frequent God's house, come under his word, be within the sound of his voice, and still miss their help? The very thing that they yearn for and they need the most. Well, join me next week because we're going to let Naaman answer that life-altering question. Until next week, God bless you.